Good afternoon. I'm Janiyah Cooper of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I have with me Kyla Roundtree of Macon, Georgia, Casey Floyd of Jessup, Georgia, and Gaius Floyd of Jessup, Georgia. Please listen attentively as we introduce our seminar speaker.
Hi, I'm Kyla. Dwight is a Mobile-based freelance photographer. His philosophy is that the way in which a moment is captured can determine how long a memory will last. His love for photography began while he was studying broadcast journalism in college. However, he did not pursue professionally until his father passed suddenly. In 2005, Dwight's mother purchased a Canon 20D, the camera his father planned to purchase so he can continue to hone his skills.
Hi, I'm Casey Floyd. After allowing it to collect dust for a year or so, he began to shoot small events and church functions. He invested in lighting and a few workshops and started shooting weddings in the latter part of 2008. His ability to capture moments has afforded him the opportunity to travel abroad capturing destination weddings. Dwight is best known for his unique gift of capturing beauty in abnormal settings. His style is best described as lifestyle photojournalism.
Hi, I'm Gaius Floyd. He is a member of the Professional Photographers of America and the Gulf Coast Association of Black Journalists. In 2013, Dwight walked away from his job as a high school English teacher and varsity basketball coach to pursue his passion full-time, touted and touted as imaginative, epic, and artistically edgy. His work transcends traditionally photography, and the moments he captured are both breathtaking and refreshing.
It is not uncommon to see him perched behind pews or leaning over balconies in efforts to get timeless images. His passion is palpable, and each encounter with him is a unique and memorable experience. He is the eldest son of the First Lady of the State of Georgia, Lady Marcia Ladd Guthrie. We present to you now Brother Dwight Ladd.
How did you know that it was the right time to transition from your 9 to 5 to your passion?
Well, as my bookings were continuing to increase, I consulted with my spiritual advisor at the time, and he asked me a very important question. He asked me if my side business was doing so well that it was interfering with my day job. And when I considered the question, the answer was no. My side job was not getting in the way. I wasn't booking to the point where, it was hard for me to still go to my 9 to 5 job. But I kept what he said in mind, and I used that as a measuring stick. So, as I continued to try to grow my business, and my bookings did, increase more and more, it got to the point where my side business eventually matched my 9 to 5 salary, and then it surpassed my 9 to 5 salary. And at that point, when it actually doubled my 9 to 5 salary, I knew it was the time, that I could walk away, and really not have any regrets about doing so.
And did you have funds reserved before transitioning to your own business?
I did. When I left the school system, I did 10 years in the school system. And when I decided to step out on faith and move forward with my own business, I took out what I had in retirement. Teachers don't make a whole lot of money, so I pulled out what was in, and it was exactly $16,000 in my retirement. I took the $16,000 out, put that with a few grand that I had on hand, and I had $20,000, a $20,000 nest egg, for as a safety net. And the problem that I encountered with the safety net was I started to tell myself, if anything goes wrong, I got $20,000 over here and I'm good, and I kind of took my eyes off God. It was more so I was relying on the nest egg and not my faith. And what happened, and it was a learning point for me. Pretty much when you put things in front of God, God is gonna do things to remove that so you can put your focus back on Him. So with that being said, the engine went out on my wife's BMW. I had about 4 weddings to cancel, had a new baby and a $2,000 mortgage. So within a matter of a couple of months, we're talking about a $20,000 nest egg being completely wiped away. So when the nest egg got wiped away, I had to completely rely on my faith. And the problem that a lot of people have is some people don't want to get to rock bottom. They don't want to test their faith. Some people are comfortable in a comfort zone. And I got to a point where I got down to literally my last $3. in life. I had $3 on me, and what it did was it increased my faith to the point, like my faith grew like it was on steroids at that point. So, you know, so it's like at this point, me getting to my absolute lowest, I know that it's nothing that I can't overcome. So if you have enough faith to be willing to hit rock bottom, you can achieve a lot.
Considering COVID-19, in your line of work, are you earning income during this pandemic?
Actually, I've made more during COVID-19 for the spring and summer months than I made in 2019 for spring and summer. So it's been a blessing. We had to revamp our business, being that a lot of weddings got shut down. You know, brides, of course, they couldn't book weddings because of the, you know, regulations due to large gatherings. So, you know, we normally book 45 weddings a year, and we book them a year in advance. So at this point in time right now, we should be, you know, 90% booked for 2021. And we're really only about 35%. So what we did, we actually did a promotion for seniors. We ran a COVID-19 special for seniors. School got shut down. As y'all know, a lot of seniors didn't get to have a traditional graduation. So we actually ran a $100 30-minute special for portrait packages. We wound up booking about 81 seniors within a couple of weeks' time. In addition to that, we submitted a proposal to a local school board, and we were able to obtain 8 high school graduations. So we ended up shooting about 2,000 kids. In addition to the 81 seniors, we also shot 2,000 students graduation pictures. So we've been doing very well in the midst of COVID-19.
Were you afraid in stepping out knowing that you had a family to support?
Initially, I wasn't afraid. As I stated earlier, I wasn't afraid because I was relying on the money that I had set aside. So I pretty much felt like, you know, everything was good. The bookings were consistent, and we had money, you know, in the bank, and, you know, my wife was working a 9 to 5. So I was confident.
What initially prompted you to finally step out on faith?
As stated earlier, I stepped out after of course I prayed about it. I consulted with my wife about it, and you know, when we had the money set aside and the bookings coming in, and at that point, you know, I had more than doubled my salary. I'd almost tripled my salary. So it was pretty much a no-brainer at that point. So so I walked away from teaching English. I had 2 coaching supplements, coaching basketball, as well as cross country. So yeah, I pretty much walked away from, I mean, it's maybe about $50,000 a year. You know, that was guaranteed money. And everybody that I worked with told me that I was stupid to leave guaranteed money to chase, you know, a dream. So.
Do you have a paid staff?
I have a paid staff. It consists of me and 1 other employee. So it's 2 employees.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to leave their 9 to 5 and pursue their dream of starting their own business?
Well, I would give them the advice to pretty much make sure that you're chasing a passion and you're not chasing an exit strategy from your 9 to 5. Some people can't really determine the difference between a passion and an exit strategy. Exit strategy is just, you know, when people they're tired of their jobs and they want to do something different. And when you have a passion, like I tell, you know, people that I mentor, you know, passion drives you to do things that you're just not going to do naturally. Passion drives me to just a few months ago, we had a wedding in Atlanta. We drove from Mobile to Atlanta. Woke up that morning, drove to Atlanta, shot a wedding for 8 hours, loaded the car up, drove back to Mobile, and charged up the equipment, woke up the next morning and shot another wedding in Mobile for 8 hours, went to sleep, charged our equipment, and we woke up again and had to drive to Montgomery. So we're talking about, in the span of 3 days, we're in 3 different cities. And I just don't think, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, passion is like the fuel that drives you to do what the regular person is not going to do. So I would just encourage you to make sure that it is truly a passion that you're searching it, and just not a reason or excuse to leave your job.
Did your faith falter as you attempted to pursue your dream?
At times it did, and it was always a situation that restored my faith. For example, when I was at my low point that I discussed earlier, I had a bridal session to do, and normally, I would go out and, depending on the type of session, I would go out and buy a prop, like a chase or a nice chair, the ones that you can pick up at like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, things of that nature. And at this particular time, I didn't have the money for the prop. They normally run anywhere from $75 to $200. And what I would do at the end of the session, I would just, put it in my garage, to use for a later shoot. And I've collected a few items, from just purchasing props like that for sessions. Well, at this particular time, I didn't have the money for a prop. So, I had the money, but I didn't have the money. So my plan was to purchase the prop for the bridal session. I had a client coming in from Birmingham, and really wanted to make it nice. And I decided to go to TJ Maxx and get the prop. So I told myself, okay, I really don't have this money for this prop, because I still got to eat the rest of the week, still got bills to pay. So I went in and I said I was going to buy the prop, and I was just going to return it, clean it up and return it after the session. So while I'm in line, I found a chase. It was about $150, and I had the chase. I was in line. I was getting ready to pay for it, and a lady behind me just, she told the cashier, she said, put his item on my credit card. And like, it just totally, like, it blew me. And at that moment, it was just confirmation that regardless of what you're dealing with, like, I'm here, So that was another message, from God, that I'm on the right path, and I'm doing the right thing. So whenever, like, I would get in a low situation, whenever my faith was seeing the falter, it was like, it was always something else to encourage my faith. And that's just one incident that occurred that was just like, just memorable. It's been a plethora of things that have happened in during this 10 years that I've been doing my own business, but that was one that just really stood out, because I was in a position where I didn't have the money at all, and this person just voluntarily, just paid for it. So I didn't even have to return it. So it was just another prop to add to my collection. So it was a blessing.
So you went from a secure job of teaching and coaching, where you made roughly maybe $50,000 a year, to your own business. So what is your annual income now versus the $50,000 that you were making?
Annually, consistently over the last 6 years, my business has grossed between $120,000 and $160,000 per year. Well, based on my experiences with shooting weddings, we encounter so much. A typical weekend is so much drama that occurs on wedding days. Good drama and bad drama. And I decided to help out other photographers, as well as brides, as well as guests who attend weddings. And I wrote a book called 21 Points to Consider. And in it, you know, it contains advice for brides, grooms, other photographers, as well as guests. Just giving advice about things that you'll encounter on a wedding day that you wouldn't know, you know, things that you don't know to encounter, you don't know to prepare for because you've never been married. Even though you may have been a guest at a wedding, you know, there are things that occur that you need to know as a bride and as a groom to make your day flow a lot smoother. There are things you need to know as a guest to make sure, you know, you're staying out of the way and making sure the bride and groom are having the best experience possible on their wedding day. And for, you know, fellow photographers, you know, I just felt like this was a way to help them not not deal with some of the things that I've dealt with, but also to help them manage some of those things when they encounter them. Because, you know, things are gonna occur, you know, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that you're shooting a wedding. There's gonna be some type of situation that you're gonna have to deal with as a photographer. And it's just good to have the knowledge to be able to, you know, put out some fires and keep the bride and groom, you know, at ease. So that's why I wrote this book. So it's actually on Amazon, 21 Points to Consider, Dwight Ladd. Pick up a copy. Weddings accounts for about 80% of our revenue. We've ventured off though here in the last couple of years and started marketing heavily for seniors as well as maternity sessions. So the majority of what we do, yeah, weddings is the breadwinner, but we also shoot a high volume of seniors, maternity sessions. We do some family sessions here and there, but yeah, weddings is the moneymaker. But we shoot babies, you know, we shoot a little bit of everything. We do corporate work now. We do headshots. We recently secured a couple of contracts with the city of Mobile. So we're venturing off, you know, more so into other avenues, but weddings right now still is the breadwinner. Actually ventured off into other avenues as a result of COVID-19. You know, when weddings weren't booking, you know, it pretty much kind of forced you to find other streams of income in photography. So I kind of had to get out of my comfort zone of weddings, because weddings, you know, that's my comfort zone. So I pretty much had to get out of that. But the good thing about shooting weddings is it prepares you for other genres of photography, because you have to be able to shoot pretty much every other type of photography just to shoot a wedding. You have to know how to shoot headshots. You have to know how to shoot architecture. You know how to you have to shoot indoor shots, outdoor shots. You have to understand lighting for a variety of different scenarios. So and adverse scenarios at that. So if you are accomplished at shooting weddings, it's pretty much the preparation, you know, to go into other genres of photography.
Now it is time for giving. Let's welcome our chairman, the chairman of the Georgia State Council, District Elder Wayman Stroud.
Praise the Lord, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. My name is District Elder Wayman Stroud Sr. I'm the chairman of the Georgia State Council, the 30th Episcopal District of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World. This afternoon, we are climaxing our 5th annual virtual leadership conference of the state of Georgia. This is a time when we concentrate on educating people, better informing them on things like healthcare, finances, families, marriages, elderly family members, burials, children, retirement, and much more. Each year, we've traveled throughout the state of Georgia to assist our small churches. And for the last 4 years, many of the pastors of this council, along with members from their churches, have traveled to these locations along with us spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. We have watched the growth of this leadership conference over the years, and it has become a growing part of this council. We have traveled to places in the state of Georgia, such as Powder Springs, Calhoun, Scriven, and Brunswick, Georgia. Each event has been supported by your financial support, and we know that without your support, we could not have continued this conference each year. Now, of course, you do not have to be a member of the Georgia State Council to make a love donation. If you have enjoyed what you have heard and seen, help and support us by registering, and we can continue to bring you some of the best and finest speakers to help in educating you in such a time as this. Now, for our pastors, our records indicate that we have over 45 churches in our council. We are asking each pastor, each bishop, suffragan bishop, district elder, minister, evangelist, we're asking each of you to register this conference with your $100 registration. If you're going to join us from other churches and would like to match our pastors by leaving a $100 donation, please join in with your gifts. Everyone else watching can help with a $15 registration. Friends, families, or other social media supporters. Go to GeorgiaStateCouncil.com. That is GAStateCouncil.com. Again, GAStateCouncil.com. And use one of the financial resources to make your contribution. And remember, we can continue with your financial support. Register today in support of this annual conference. Look on the screen, and it will give you the information needed for you to make your monetary contribution. Once again, GAStateCouncil.com. Thank you. God bless all of you with the love of Christ in Jesus' name. God bless you.
We thank God for this first ever virtual leadership conference. And coming to put this conference to a close is none other than the Bishop of the Georgia State Council, Bishop J.D.
My brothers and sisters, what a conference. Woo! Jesus, I'm still rejoicing in the Lord. Starting off on Thursday night, we had Pastor Monday moving forward to the other side. Friday night, we had our Honorable Bishop Charles H. Ellis III, all the way from Detroit, Michigan, ministering in pandemic times. Then we had re-entering our churches with Dr. Alvin Griffin and Dr. Flowers, how God used them. And then we had the Dr. Berkeley on how the COVID-19 has impacted the black community physically, emotionally, and mentally in adults. My, what a awesome seminar that was brought to us. And then also we had how COVID-19 has impacted the black community physically, emotionally, and mentally in our youth by Dr. Goodwin. Oh, my brothers and sisters, such a word. Then we had Reinventing Yourself with Brother Dwight Jr. What about that prayer meeting all the way from Troy, New York? Elder and Sister Camp, how that the Lord used them tremendously. Oh, we give God the praise. praise, honor, and glory. Pastor David and Evangelist Pauline Camp, God used you mightily. And also Elder Clifford and Minister Valerie Gordon, how that they just carried on. I mean, God is even using our people right here in this great state of Georgia. And then I want to thank and praise the Lord for Sister Natalie Cooper and Sister Karma Reese from our media department, and Suffragan Bishop J. Patrick Miller as the Bishop of Protocol. And then the Georgia State Council praise team with Minister Marvin Mars. Songs was just outstanding. And a special thanks goes out to our staff, our chairman, District Elder Wayman Stroud, our vice chairman, District Elder Dennis Mitchell, our secretary, Sister Hazel Lucas, and our assistant secretary, Sister Nikita Boston, did a wonderful, wonderful job. Thank and praise the Lord for those who, and especially with our secretary, those that have worked untiringly. Our treasurer, Elder Clifford Gordon, and our assistant treasurer, Elder Lester Gilbert. Even he has taken time out as being a new dad to even work and to do the work of the Lord. So we give praise and honor to God for such a great conference. And you know what? We're looking for number 6. I believe that this pandemic will be over. We'll have an opportunity to be all together praising and in magnifying God. You know what? God is good, and He is worthy to be praised. I want to thank even all of those who have listened and those who have tuned in to help make this conference what it is. So my brothers and sisters, we give you honor and glory. And I want to also give a shout out to my beautiful wife in the person of Lady Marshall Ladd Guthrie, who has been right by my side and has helped us. To all of our Suffragan Bishop, district elders, and pastors of this great Georgia State Council, we give thanks unto the Lord for you. Shall we bow our heads? Father God in heaven, in the name of the Lord, we give you praise, honor, and glory for all of your many multiplicities and many blessings that you have showered upon us. We thank you for each presenter. We thank you for each one that has helped to make this conference what it is. Give us the strength that we may endure and that we may go on and be strong soldiers of the cross of Calvary. We thank you for each and every one. Now, Lord, be with us as we depart, as we go forward in the name of the Lord. Give us the strength we need to make it, we pray. In Jesus' mighty name, amen and amen.